Morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Lisa. Can y'all hear me?
Morning.
Yeah, I can hear you. Mom, I can't hear
Someone,
you.
someone say Felicia.
Felicia.
No, I think Juliana was asking for mom.
I'm
Yeah,
here.
Oh, there we go.
I didn't have luck at Lowe's. Now I'm at Home Depot, so I'll keep you posted.
Oh, no. Okay. You poor thing.
Oh, thanks, bud.
Stephanie, can you make the link shareable?
Oh, yeah, I will.
That's so cute.
Do you know the best thing about it?
You
Doug?
already sold it?
No, I got it on time.
Oh,
I got it before it was sold.
Bazinga.
We did get an offer, but they don't want to take any offers yet.
Hey, which condo? I know. Okay, so Capriani, I think, has the lien against the whole HOA, and St. Regis has what? Both those have similar issues. I always confuse them.
I'm pretty sure they both just have a lien on them.
They're
So
both cash only, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
as far as I know, unless it's changed. It's been a while since I've been over there. But
I thought one was like a lien and the other was like still like litigating with the insurance company or something like that.
I don't know. You'd have to call and ask.
Wow, Stephanie, you got it on Instagram too. That's amazing.
I know.
Stepping your game up. Adam, checking in from Poverty Point. It looks like a beautiful day down there.
It is. It's chilly, windy, but always a beautiful day at Poverty Point.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Today, let's see. Give me a second to get my stuff figured out. So we got one or two more coming. Let's give them a second. Brandon, can you stop recording and start it again? It won't let me do it since you started the meeting. All right, cool. All right, today I want to talk about best practices for handling realtor and Zillow leads when they come in. And they come in differently. So I think everybody's aware of that by now at this point. Zillow leads, for the most part, are going to come in one of two ways. Either they're going to show up in your inbox or your dashboard in Zillow, and you should get a text or an email notification based on what your settings are, or you're going to answer a Zillow call, and it's going to go right to you, or you're going to connect directly. So when you get a direct call, let's talk about the best way to script that. How are you answering the phone when you see that it's a Zillow call? Not everybody wants.
When the person connects you to the lead, I just introduce myself and say, hello, this is Janine, Zillow Premier Agent with the Oceano Realty. How can I help? And just let them start talking.
That's pretty succinct and to the
They
point.
usually start off with, let me guess, Kinston.
Yeah.
Jokes. I think that's a great way to do it. Conversely, how are you calling if you get the lead in your inbox? What's your script?
Same thing.
Got the inquiry about the property that you saw on Zillow, and I'm following up. Sometimes they answer, sometimes they don't. Same thing I would do for a Boomtown lead.
Yeah, basically the same thing. The point is you're doing your homework. You're still introducing yourself as a Zillow Premier agent. You want to make that tie so they understand why you're calling, right? But then you want to use your context clues that you're given from why they inquired or what they were looking at or whatever to make the connection to it so it doesn't feel like a cold call. When you do that, make sure that you come in and you enter a note over here. Whether you call them and don't get them, if you call somebody and talk to them, I can see that because obviously there's a recording here. You still need to be adding notes so Zillow sees what's going on. Also, make sure you're using the drop down up here as it applies, because it's going to help our lead flow. They'll send us more overflow leads if they see that we're actively working the leads, and they can't see that if you're not tracking it in there. So make sure you do it. Also, that allows me to see it so I don't have to screenshot it and say, hey, did you see this lead that came in last night? And then you're like, well, yeah, I talked to them. I didn't know if you didn't directly connect. If it was just in your inbox and you reached out to them, I won't know that you talked to them unless it was like a two-way text or something like that. So just make sure you're taking the time to update over here on this end. And then what you want to do is make sure you get them in your Boomtown for appropriate follow-up, right? You don't necessarily need to start them on a drip if you're having a conversation with them. You just put them in your watch or nurture or hot if that's what they are. And ideally, you can convert them over to the Boomtown site, send them the link, get them set up on there. Just explain, hey, Zillow's not always accurate. My site feeds directly from MLS. You're never going to miss anything on my site that's in MLS, etc. Any other scripting thoughts on that? Or questions about any of that?
Question, do we have to continually update these contact notes or just the first time we make contact?
I think the first time you make contact is most important. What I would also like for you to do is when you get them under contract to come back in here and put under contract, because that'll help with our ROI tracking. And that's kind of with some features that Sisu are offering now, kind of my next step is going to go and add in to Sisu how much we're spending on these lead sources so I get a better idea of our ROI, so I know where we need to allocate more dollars. So if we're spending X dollars a month for Boomtown, and then I can go and see we have Y in gross commission expected from Boomtown, then I can compare it to the same from Zillow and make more educated decisions about where to invest, not just my dollars, but also our lenders' dollars to buy leads that are most effective and generate the most for everybody.
I have yet to convert a Zillow lead.
Well, keep after it.
Yeah.
So make sure you're doing that for me. Also make sure you know you're appropriately marketing and Sisu. Any other questions about Zillow?
I've got one question, and I'm not trying to change the subject here, but I feel like you were told that it's all based on what locations we have on our profile as to where we're getting the leads. I can assure you that I do not have Grifton, North Carolina, or Pitt, Lenoir County on my profile, and I continue to get these $15,000 land leads. I mean, I'm just honest with you, I'm not nurturing those like I would somebody looking for a house in Garner. So I think that you deserve an answer based on what you're paying on how does this continue to happen. If someone else has it on their profile on the team, I'd love for them to have it, and I'm happy to pass them, but that shit ain't on my profile. I'm not driving to Grifton, North Carolina.
Remember, we're not being charged for leads that aren't in the zip codes we're buying. Those
okay. Well, so then my next question for that is, if I don't nurture that lead, does that hurt our team accountability or our team metrics or my personal metrics at all?
I don't believe so, no. I think you can reject it and say out of area or client not interested or something like that and put that in the notes. So you're documenting it, especially if you're not working with somebody.
Okay. I forgot about that we're not paying for all of those. So, okay.
Okay, we haven't talked about it.
That's a good thing to bring up, Doug. I have a question. So if we get a lead like that and we answer the phone and it's in a town that I've never heard of, and I usually will pull up Google and see how far away it is, and it's 2.5 hours from here. Is there a way to reject it without talking to that person, or do we have to talk to that person?
That's what I want to know.
Because I mean, why waste my time or their time because I can't help them? It's
Well, I guess
way.
the person gives you the address when they try to connect you. So do you hurry up and look up the address and then decide if you're going to connect?
I mean,
But if
that's what I do,
already
but I
pushed
don't know how to-
one, if you already push one, then that means you're going to take the call.
Well, yeah. So if I press one, then they tell you what
The address is.
well, because you press one to like connect, and then they tell you what the address is, and then they tell you to like connect again or whatever. But I'm saying once they give you that address and they say press whatever when you're ready to connect with the buyer. If I don't want to connect with the buyer, what do I do?
Exactly. That's my trouble.
Well, I think that doesn't really count against us because it's one of the outside ones. So
Yeah, but once you've already pushed number one that you're going to connect and they give you the address, how does it move
I've done
forward?
that before, and they called me back and said we got disconnected because I did get a land lead like that one time in Leland, and I'm like, I'm not driving to Leland, so I hung up, and then the guy called me back.
Well, here's what everybody needs to realize. Somebody on the team might want the lead. So it's not your decision to just say, okay, I don't want this lead for the whole team. You need to take the call, get the information, and say, I'll have an agent from my office follow up with you.
And then put it in the group.
So there's not a way to like put it back out into our system to get a call to everybody else.
Well,
Doug, what I do, anytime Zillow calls, I hit one right off the rip. Like, I don't know. Like, I hit one, and then when it comes over wherever it's at, I'll look it up. And if it's in the middle of nowhere, I put it out to the group. And if nobody answers, I just put it in a Boomtown in the
But how do you move forward with the connection, Charles? Because you're going to have to connect to that person.
Well, yeah, no, I connect to them and I'll talk with them and I'll be like, hey, look, okay, I see you're looking at land in, middle of nowhere, North Carolina that I've never heard of. Unfortunately, I don't really cover that area, but I do have somebody who does.
Okay.
Is this the best contact number for you and your best email? Confirm their contact info, and then I'll put it in the group chat like, hey, does anybody want this property in the middle of nowhere? And then I'll go to the Facebook Boomtown group. And then I'll be like, hey, I'm looking for an agent that covers middle of nowhere, North Carolina. And then whoever responds, then I'll do that whole referral thing.
I wish that when Zillow came up, you could see like Holly Ridge, Sneeds Ferry, where it is. So you can.
That's smart.
But does that, so
that's really good.
Yeah,
Doug, a question for you. Does that help our, I guess, like, rotation of it? Because like I kind of understand how it works, that like there's different tiers that people pay or whatever, and they get into different rotations. But like if we always are accepting, is that helping us eventually get like better, like instead of me always getting middle of nowhere, North Carolina, I'm actually going to get something in Raleigh or something in Garner?
Well, you're only going to get something in zip codes that we buy or overflows from other areas. The thing is, people are answering the calls in the other zip codes that we want. So you're not going to get overflow from there unless that happens.
But what I'm saying is like the overflow that we get, like, and I don't even know if this is even something Zillow does or if it even matters, but if we're answering the calls all the time, right, and they see that our firm's always answering the calls, does that give us like a higher priorities rating? Like,
yeah, it helps.
Is that even a thing?
It helps us get more calls, but it's not going to have anything to do with the property or the value of the property.
Well, yeah, just in terms of like just general, like, will that get us more calls in the areas that we want calls, or will it just get us more calls in general?
It's just going to get us more calls.
Okay.
I mean, if there are people that don't answer in better areas, then theoretically we're going to be closer to the front of the line to get the overflow calls there. But where we're getting these overflow calls are where people aren't answering or they're not selling enough ads to sell 100% of the ad space. Because why would you buy Zillow leads in, out LaGrange or wherever? So, but at the end of the day, the thing is, there are still ways to take advantage of it. You get the client's information like Charles talked about, said, let me connect you with an agent on our team that can help you in that area. Come to the team, ask who wants it. There's probably always going to be somebody who's getting started or might be a little down to say, you know what, hell, I don't normally drive an hour and a half, but I'll do it. Okay. Don't take that opportunity away from other people just because you don't want to do it. And then if nobody else wants to do it, throw it on the Boomtown group and say, hey, who wants a referral? Any questions about that? Good discussion. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
In terms of notifications on them that you're getting it. So for example, like you literally have this one pulled up and I just logged into my Zillow to see. So I didn't get like a message telling me that that one right there, the one that you put over to me, that you have up on your screen. Like I never got a message telling me that. Like sometimes I get messages from Zillow and sometimes I don't. Like I have the alert settings set up for like the text message and the email to tell you. I just didn't know if anybody else ever like had issues with not getting notified.
This is why. It's because they asked for help and Zillow reached out to them, but they didn't respond to Zillow. So they assign it to you, but there's no call to action. So you're not going to get a notification about those. So you need to make sure that you're checking your inbox daily in case things like these come up. And then you can, I would reach out, even though they didn't want to talk to Zillow, doesn't mean they don't want to talk to you. So I would reach out and see what you can get rolling with them.
Cool.
Also a really good question. Any other questions about Zillow? All right, cool. So also remember all Zillow leads are Kyle's. He's our exclusive Zillow lender. If you get somebody who needs help immediately and they can't talk and Kyle isn't available, let me know so we can see who's next in the rotation. Realtor.com, a little bit different setup. We can't route directly to you guys. So all of these come through me. So what I'm doing is as they come in, I'm looking at them. I'm assessing where they're looking and then I'm seeing who's up next. Okay. And so what I'm doing is calling you to say, hey, can you call this realtor lead now? And if I don't get you, I'm calling somebody else. So if you get a call from me and I don't leave a message, that's probably why. It means you'll be on the list next time. And then what I'm doing is forwarding typically 2 emails. It's going to be their where they've made the connection with us and then their property inquiry. And I'm forwarding both of those so you have all of that information and you've got their contact information and you can respond in kind. And then third, what I'm doing is going in and adding it to your, I'm reassigning it to you in your dashboard. So you can go in and then make notes, etc. What I'm also trying to do is communicate with them who's going to be reaching out to them with your number so they know what number to expect to hear from. For example, this one, you know, it sends an auto text when somebody sends an inquiry. And it says, basically, I saw your inquiry. It's now a good time to discuss. Text stop if you don't want to be contacted. I can't edit that. These are canned, so I can't do anything about them. But yeah, surprisingly, like 90% of these respond to that. It's like, yeah, I'm available X time. So what I'm doing is, hey, agent, here's the person, here's the property. This is when they want to be talked to. I'm going to forward you these emails so you have them and you can see all the information immediately. And then I'll go and reassign them to you in the dashboard so you can take it from there. Any questions about how that works?
I got to get my email fixed with them. It's just like you can't ever get through to Realtor because when I click email there, it's going to my Gmail account for some reason. And my profile has my Oceanair account. I don't understand what's going on.
That's really odd. I don't
Stupid.
understand why that's the case.
I'm just waiting for somebody to call me back.
But here's the thing: if I forward it to you, I'm forwarding it to your work email.
No, yeah, I know. I just went, instead of doing it from the realtor.com, I just did it from my email and wrote them an email that way because it's messed up.
Yeah. So, and again, with realtor.com, You want to get them in Boomtown.
Yeah.
Move them over to our site, ideally. Explain why they should use our site versus one of these other commercial sites. Send them the invite, get their search set up there if that property isn't the one. Andy is our lender for Realtor.com. He is buying all the leads for Realtor.com, just like Kyle's buying all the leads for Zillow. So all of these leads need to go to them unless you've got somebody and they can't talk to them immediately. Then you need to let me know so I can get on rotation. Any questions about that? If you haven't, take the time to go in and make sure your profile's complete. Because if an agent is, if somebody's connected with you through Realtor.com and you know your office info isn't in there, I mean, you should connect your social stuff. You can add, you know, just your bio, all that stuff. You want people to know who you are. It also probably looks like you're not doing a lot of business if somebody connects to your profile and it's not complete. Probably not going to help the chances that they're going to select you. It could hurt, might not help. So, you know, take 20 minutes and go in there and update that. You only have to do it once. Any questions about that? That's what I wanted to cover more than anything today, because we really hadn't had a discussion about these this formally since we kind of started using them. And we're seeing success. I think last month we had 3 Zillow contracts and 1 Realtor contract. Not bad, and hopefully continuing to get better. So I need you guys' help to make sure that we're nurturing the leads and jumping on them right away. Obviously, speed to lead is just as important with these, probably even more so than Boomtown, because by and large, these leads are hotter. So you really got to be responsive on them. I'm kind of can control that with Realtor because I get a text and then I'm just right on it and send you guys. With Zillow, you got to watch out for that a little bit more on your own. So make sure you're checking your inbox on Zillow at least once, if not a couple times a day.
Doug, I've gotten 2 calls from Realtor.com about selling leads, and I, you know, said sorry because I don't know that it's Realtor.com calling when I answer, and then it's yeah. So
tell them your team lead handles it,
and that's what I told
and we're already buying leads.
Yeah, that's what I told him. Okay.
That's what I would say if anybody called me about selling anything. Give me your information. I'll have them.
Yeah.
I'll have them call you, and then we'll see how good a salesman they are. If they say, "Okay, here's my number," have them call me. Thanks.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Any other questions? Brandon? Thoughts? Tiffany, you good? All right. Anybody else? Ashley, Meredith, Ginger, any questions about that? No, you guys haven't dealt with it as much yet.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll make more sense when you're in there and you're doing it all the time, but I don't have any questions about like the lenders and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool.
The fact that Charles says he pressed 1 immediately makes sense that a lot of times I don't get them. He's beating me to that 1.
That's what I would recommend doing. That's a good strategy. All right, then. That's all I got. Thanks for popping in. I'll post this for posterity. Be talking to some of you soon. Have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you.